operating at a level beyond your ordinary capacity. You are making what might be described as devoted love to your purpose. One of the most immediate rewards of practicing this law is the observable increase in personal magnetism. Charisma, at the vibratory level, is an excess of vital energy that emanates from a person whose creative force is not being continuously dispersed. Their eyes carry a quality of presence. Their voice carries natural authority and resonance. Their posture communicates genuine power without aggression. People are drawn to such individuals without being able to articulate why. That magnetic quality attracts not only human connection, but opportunities, resources, and circumstances that align with their purpose. This law carries a critical warning that must be clearly stated. Sexual energy is an amplifier of whatever already exists within you. If you conserve and circulate this energy while your mental and emotional field is filled with hatred, resentment, or pathological ambition, you will amplify those distortions. You will become more powerfully destructive rather than more powerfully creative. This is why this law must always be preceded by the inner work of the earlier laws, particularly the elevation of your consciousness calibration and the clearing of your internal field. Before you raise the voltage, ensure the wiring is clean. 10,000 volts through compromised wiring generates fire, not power. You do not need to adopt a monastic existence to apply this law. You need only to become an intelligent steward of your most valuable resource. Treat your creative energy as you would treat any form of capital. You would not throw significant financial capital away randomly for momentary gratification. Apply the same intelligence to your vital force. When you choose to conserve this energy, you are not denying yourself pleasure. You are redirecting it toward the greatest pleasure available, the experience of creating something extraordinary from nothing, the irreplaceable feeling of operating at the full capacity of your nature. Law 7. The law of circulation. Prosperity as electrical current and the physics of giving. In the geography between northern and southern waters, there exist two bodies sustained by the same source. The first is vibrant, filled with life, fish, vegetation, movement. The second is called the Dead Sea, not as metaphor, but as accurate description. No fish survive its waters. Despite being fed by an identical source with identical water, one supports abundant life and the other supports none. The difference is not in the quality of the input, it is in the structure of the flow. The first body receives water and releases it. It has both an inlet and an outlet. Water moves through it. The second receives water and retains every drop. Its governing principle is everything for me, nothing outward. And paradoxically, by trying to retain everything, it has converted itself into a sterile cemetery. By holding the water, it corrupts it. This geographical reality illustrates the law of circulation with perfect precision. Energy only sustains power while it moves. When it stops moving, it transforms into stagnation and eventually into something harmful. Most people relate to money the way the Dead Sea relates to water. They are consumed by the desire to maximize the inlet, to earn, acquire, accumulate, while simultaneously living in terror of the outlet. They contract around every expense, and they cannot comprehend why, despite genuine effort, the flow of prosperity seems to dry up rather than increase. What they have not understood is that money is not an object to be accumulated. It is a current to be channeled. The language itself reveals the truth. The English word currency, money in circulation, derives from the Latin currere, meaning to run, to flow. It shares its root with a river current and an electrical current. Money has no intrinsic value in isolation. A banknote is paper and ink. Stranded on a remote island, it cannot sustain you in any way. The value of money exists only in its movement, in the exchange. It is relational energy. Picture money as electricity and yourself as a light source. For the light to illuminate, for abundance to manifest, electricity must enter through one connection and exit through another. If you sever the exit because you want to retain all the electrons, the current stops. The light goes out. You cannot accumulate electricity in a wire. It must flow continuously to generate power. The same principle governs your financial experience. When you block the outflow through fear or contracted thinking, you block the inflow simultaneously. The circuit is broken. The current stops. Examine this biologically. Receiving money is like breathing in. Spending and giving money is like breathing out. If you decided that air was so precious, you would inhale and hold it indefinitely, you would suffocate. You would become incapable of receiving fresh air precisely because you refused to release the old. You must exhale to create the space and biological drive for the next inhalation. This is the condition in which many people experience their financial lives. A kind of breath holding that creates sustained tension around every outflow. Every bill paid becomes a minor grief. Every investment, every tip, every gift generates an anxious contraction. That tension is broadcasting a signal into the quantum field. There is not enough. This is scarce. I must grip what I have. The universe, which is a mirror of your vibration, confirms. I will demonstrate the truth of that. And it does. The law of circulation requires that you develop the capacity to release money, to pay, to give, to invest, with the same quality of ease and even joy with which you welcome its arrival. The flow must be rhythmic, generous, and free of the anxiety of loss. There is a significant difference between what might be called intelligent conservation and what is actually scarcity vibration disguised as financial responsibility. Genuine financial planning arises from clarity and purposeful intention. It calibrates at approximately 310 on the Hawkins scale. Contraction around expenditure that arises from deep fear, that operates at 100. When you habitually seek to extract maximum value while offering minimum exchange, when you systematically automatically undervalue the service of others. When you find yourself reluctant to pay full price for genuine quality, you are not being financially wise. You are broadcasting poverty, and the universe is listening. What you do to others energetically, you do to yourself. If you consistently signal to the field that others do not deserve to be fully compensated, your own compensation will reflect that exact signal. Transform your relationship with bills. A bill is not a punishment. It is a receipt of blessings already received. The electricity bill is documentation that you had warmth, light, and connection for 30 days. The rent or mortgage is an acknowledgement of shelter provided. When you pay these, do so with a deliberate quality of gratitude. Imagine your money as seeds being released into fertile ground. If you consume your seeds, retain them out of fear, you will never have a harvest. You must release them into the soil of circulation for them to multiply and return as abundance. John D. Rockefeller, the first individual in modern history to generate $1 billion in personal wealth, gave 10% of every dollar he received from his very first paycheck as a young man until the day he died. He consistently attributed his financial expansion to this practice, not as superstition, but as a law he understood. When you give freely before you feel you have enough to give, you communicate to your subconscious and to the quantum field that you are already operating from sufficiency. You are demonstrating, not merely declaring, that you are bigger than your financial fear. That demonstration carries enormous vibratory power. The return from genuine giving does not necessarily arrive from the direction of your generosity. It arrives through the universe, often through channels entirely unexpected, from people and circumstances that have no apparent connection to your giving. The circuit that you complete through generosity creates a circulation pattern that the universe is compelled by its own laws to honor. The greatest blind spot in financial consciousness is this: you cannot attract what you energetically resent. If you observe someone in circumstances of obvious prosperity, and your inner response is envy or moral judgment, surely they must have obtained that through compromise or exploitation. You have just declared your own internal prohibition against prosperity. Your subconscious, dedicated to keeping you a person of integrity as you have defined it, will ensure you never accumulate what you have associated with being compromised. Every time you draw close to financial expansion, it will generate a subtle self-sabotage to protect you from becoming what you have judged. To activate the law of circulation, bless what you desire. When you encounter someone in obvious prosperity, allow yourself to feel genuine appreciation. How wonderful that this level of abundance exists and is available. If they have accessed it, its possibility exists in you, the field. The law of entrainment, Law 3, guarantees that by genuinely aligning with the vibration of another's success, you activate that frequency within your own field. Envy is a wall. Genuine appreciation for another's prosperity is a door. Money does not change who you are. It amplifies what you already.
What's going on, everybody? Tim here, just out in nature, enjoying a beautiful hike in a beautiful location. And as I was walking, I was just feeling so blessed and so grateful. I just started